A rare Primlow game for the Timberwolves, but a not rare, embarrassing defeat to a severely inferior opponent at home. And this installation was the Portland Trailblazers, who were resting their entire starting lineup and then some. The organization doing everything it can to tank and lose games. They had lost 11 of their last 12. And the Wolves were, I saw different estimates of -17 to -20 going into this game. That's how much they're supposed to win by. But here's how I signed off my last video. They really love torturing the home Sapirs too. It's their favorite. Well, we're playing against the Blazers, who are in ultra tank mode next. It would be pretty typical of this year's Timberwolves to drop that game. Oh boy. Because this Wolves team, all year long, cannot compete against the bottom feeders of the NBA. They do not show up for the games. They play to the level of their opponent, but they're always worse against these terrible teams. And it's the same way every time. They have these lethargic starts where they're not trying. They're turning the ball over and over. It was Anthony Edwards to start this one tonight. And he finally looked a little bit more like himself, the athleticism restoring and feeling a little bit more healthy. Decision making wasn't always there tonight, but he was looking a lot better and making some big plays. But there was sloppiness across the board, and we were getting outworked. 6 turnovers and 6 offensive rebounds given up in the first quarter alone. They trailed by 7 in that first quarter, giving the Blazers plenty of hope that they can compete in this game with a roster that the broadcast team even says they've had to Google like half of the players on it. So the Blazers had hungry players out there and they were grinding. The Wolves needed to match at least some of that energy. And in the second quarter, we got a little bit of it. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who always brings some effort, had one of his best stints in weeks. 7 points in his 6 minutes, 2 of 3 shooting. Made his 3, got an assist, got a board. He was looking good, and I tweeted, I hope we see a lot more of him because we need his energy. He would never see the floor again because Finch never rewards players that are playing well off the bench and sticks to his same idiotic tendencies even as he sees players not performing well and having a down night. You can have players providing exactly what the Wolves need in the moment on an absolute heater, and Finch just stays fucking blind to it. He would stick more with Taurean Prince off the bench tonight, who had a really bad game. He was 2 of 8, 2 turnovers to 0 assists. He was not locked in whatsoever. And with most of these bench guys, you can kind of tell what game they're going to have pretty early on. Only thing keeping that game close really outside of the gigantic talent disparity was that Mike Conley and Kyle Anderson were under control and making good plays through that one. Kyle Anderson especially would have a really good game, although he would have kind of the embarrassing exclamation point at the end as his game-winning attempt would roll over the backboard and go out of bounds with 0.7 seconds left. But don't get it twisted, he was the best Timberwolf player tonight, even with that embarrassing picture for the end there. The worst player tonight, you could make the argument, was probably Karl Anthony Towns. Only gets 3 shot attempts, the same amount of turnovers as he had in the game. And that was in 25 minutes. Oh, hello, Cat. He would also have 5 fouls in that stretch. That's why the minutes were toned back a little bit. He couldn't guard a soul out there, and that's really the concern with Cat is how is he going to guard 4s? That's not a matchup that he's going to handle well. He's not detailed. He's not disciplined. Effort can be spotty. He fouls a fuck ton. Do we really expect him to be like a great perimeter defender for us and for that not to be an issue? You can see against the backups of backups, it's a problem. The other big in Gobert, not putting up a very good performance with his biggest competition being Drew Eubanks, so that was stellar to see too. One little glimmer of positivity to end this on, Jaden McDaniels would pull off so many incredible defensive plays in that game. Had 4 blocks, 2 steals, breaking up alley-oops, making ridiculous blocks, giant wall-ups. Like, he does so many things that only a handful of people in the NBA even are capable of, and his defensive prowess is close to unmatched. Defensive Player of the Year, the next Kawhi, he's that legit. Would have 4 turnovers, and offense was solid but sloppy at times from him. But he's special. He and Ant have to be the focus going forward for this franchise. The bigs are honestly not that important. And that's not even to say that it's impossible for them to work together. It's just we have other pieces that are kind of more important and regularly show up for us more than Cat and Gobert. We got Ant, we got Jaden, even Kyle Anderson's flourishing. Like, how do we not keep him out there as the four-man? Finch has even said it, he's one of the most integral players in this offense at this point, while also having defensive versatility, which is the premium thing to have in the league, not a fucking giant that can't guard half of the players on the court. So there's really got to be some thought into what to do with this team long term, because there's so many great individual pieces here, but they're not a good team. They've shown all year they are not a good team. They don't take care of the games they should. They don't take care of home court. They don't hold on to leads. They don't have consistency. This is not a good basketball team. It's been a roller coaster all year, and even though we've got all this talent and it's been kind of a shitstorm of a year for everyone, they never stabilized as they should. As much as players like Kyle Anderson and Mike Conley can bring those presences, we haven't had it. Whatever our placement ends up being for the play-in this year at this point, it doesn't matter a ton. We're not taking out a legit team in a series anyway. That's not what this team has been. They've proved it all year long. I'm fucking sick of being right. It's never fun.